Breaking inputs just coming in terms of the developments that are taking place in the Korean Peninsula, where South Korean President Moon Jae-in addresses reporters, and he said that he is in fact in agreement with Kim Jong-un that the proposed Singapore summit with US President Donald Trump must indeed happen. Now, the South Korean president further insists that Kim Jong-un hopes that the summit will in fact end the history of confrontation between North Korea and the United States. So this is the latest bit of development that is coming in, where Kim Jong-un, in his meeting with the South Korean President Moon Jae-in, is reported to have said that he wants the meeting to happen to end the era of confrontation. And for more of this, we are joined in by our international affairs correspondent Ramesh Ramachandran. Ramesh, good morning to you. This is an interesting development that is taking place, at a time when the United States is resorting to a bit of a flip-flop. After having committed to the 12th of June meeting, what we are seeing is that Kim Jong-un appears to be pretty set on having that crucial meet with the US president.
Indeed, the morning, Mohammed, developments happening thick and fast on the Korean Peninsula. In the last few moments, we heard from the South Korean President Moon Jae-in. He was briefing reporters in Seoul about his meeting yesterday with Kim Jong-un. Now, according to the South Korean president, the meeting took place at the request of Kim Jong-un, and that's how Moon Jae-in crossed the military demarcation line to meet Kim Jong-un on the North Korean side of the demilitarized zone.
Right.
But some couple of quick points, outcomes from the press briefing, Mohammed. First, Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae-in will meet for a third time on the 1st of June. That's the big breaking news coming out of that press conference. And this meeting will be followed by military talks to de-escalate tensions in the DMZ, and also followed by the Red Cross meeting to allow family reunions separated by the 53 war and families living across the demilitarized zone in South Korea and North Korea. And fourth, there will be a three-way trilateral talks among the US, South Korea and North Korea to end the war sometime later this year. But the most important takeaway, Mohammed, is that Moon Jae-in says the 12th June summit meeting, the first of its kind between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, looks very much on the cards. Right. And that Kim Jong-un declared to Moon Jae-in in his meeting that he's most looking forward to meeting Trump in Singapore on the 12th. And just a quick point, Mohammed, elsewhere speaking in the White House, Trump himself has said that he thinks the 12th June meeting looks very much on the cards,
right,
and that talks are going on very well, and that preparatory talks are being held by the US and North Korean side to firm up ground for the 12th June meeting in Singapore.
Absolutely indeed, Ramesh. And also considering as to how things have actually moved over the course of the recent days, we saw the bonhomie between the two Korean leaders. Now, there was talk that the summit indeed will happen before the United States decided to pull out, where the US president, quoted the reason as open hostility on the part of the North Koreans for him to in fact pull out of that meet. Now, considering the advisors that he has got, John Bolton is the person that I'm referring to here. Do you think that the statements that John Bolton had said, where the Libyan model for denuclearization could be applied, is something that could still actually derail the talks between North Korea and the United States?
Well, Mohammed, there's no denying that nothing much has changed in the last 3 odd days. Because the differences on the issue of denuclearization still very much remain. North Korea says it is for incremental or phased denuclearization, whereas Trump says he wants everything done all in one immediately. Now, that's their sticking point. But that said, referring to the Libya model, Mohammed, now we've heard the Libya model from both Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, and Mike Pence, the vice president. And that, to my mind, was the deal breaker for Kim Jong-un, which is why we heard the North Korean government make those extremely caustic remarks, saying that we will threaten to walk out of the talks if America does not tone down its rhetoric. But since then, we've heard a toning down of the rhetoric actually happening from the American side. And the most recent comment by Trump at the White House seems to be conciliatory. He says talks are going positively well, and he looks confident that the 12th June summit will indeed happen in Singapore. But that said, most importantly, Mohammed, Moon Jae-in telling reporters in Seoul that Kim Jong-un remains committed to denuclearization, but he wants guarantees, security guarantees, that his regime, the Kim family regime, will survive the summit talks with the U.S. and that U.S. will not indulge in any sort of regime change going forward.
But Ramesh, just before I let you go on this, do you think that the U.S. is actually willing to give them that assurance that regime change will not happen?
Now, that's the million-dollar question, Mohammed. Knowing the U.S., we've, as you mentioned, we've seen the example of Libya. And this Libyan model has been discussed in North Korea by the North Korean leaders for many, many years now. He's always spoken about how the U.S. treated Muammar Gaddafi after he decided to give up on his nascent, the fledgling nuclear weapons program. But the fact is that we do not know yet about any one country that has voluntarily given up its weapons. And North Korea might not want to be the first to do that. And so security guarantees become extremely important for Kim Jong-un. And that is why he's wanting guarantees from the U.S. that the U.S. will not implement the Libya model going forward, especially at the time when he has pulled the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear deal after the U.S. signed on it.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Ramesh Ramachandran, for joining us and getting us all those updates. But of course, the big takeaway is the bonhomie that we see between the two Korean leaders, something which is unprecedented. But will the June 12th summit indeed take place is still up for anyone to guess.